Welcome to The Explainer. So, today we're going to talk about something that's affecting, well, pretty much everyone. How technology is completely rewriting the rules of business. The old ways are done, and if you're not ready to think differently, you're going to get left behind.
All right, so what exactly does this new world look like? Well, it's so chaotic, so disruptive, that experts have actually given it a name. They call it the digital vortex.
Just imagine a massive whirlpool. That's the digital vortex. It's this irresistible force of digitalization, and it's pulling every single industry towards its center. Now, some are getting sucked in way faster than others. You can see tech, media, and finance are already right there in the eye of the storm.
And this vortex creates an environment that's best described by an old military acronym, actually. It's called VUCA. That stands for volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. It's basically a world where if you're standing still, you are absolutely falling behind.
So, you might be wondering, how in the world did we get here? I mean, for the longest time, progress felt pretty predictable, didn't it? Kind of linear, step by step. Well, that era, it's officially over.
You see, for most of the 20th century, technology evolved along these things called S-curves. They were predictable. A new technology would show up, it would grow, and then it would mature. This gave businesses time to adapt, to plan. It was manageable.
And each technology followed this really clear life cycle. You had the birth, then the growth phase where it fought for adoption, then it would mature and become the standard. And then, eventually, something new would come along and a whole new S-curve would begin. You could almost set your watch to it.
But then, somewhere around the turn of the century, everything changed. That comfortable, predictable linear path, it didn't just bend, it exploded. It transformed into one single, steep and relentless exponential curve, and it was all thanks to digitalization.
And if you want proof, just look at the acceleration in semiconductor technology. This is absolutely mind-bending. We went from 2 transistors in 1958 to 30 billion on a similar surface by 2020. That's not just progress, folks. That is a flat-out technological explosion.
And what's fueling this insane acceleration? Well, it's something even bigger. It's the fact that a whole bunch of powerful new technologies are all converging at the same time.
Here's the real key takeaway. These incredible technologies aren't just developing on their own anymore. They're not in silos. They are merging, they're interacting, they're amplifying each other. And this synergy, this is what we call the fourth industrial revolution.
And man, what a powerful cocktail it is. We're talking AI, robotics, VR, the Internet of Things, the list just goes on and on. But think about it. It's not just about AI on its own. It's about how AI and IoT are combining to create smart cities, or how robotics and 3D printing are completely turning manufacturing on its head. Each one is a game changer, but together, they are fundamentally reshaping our entire world.
So, in a world this chaotic, this exponential, what's the one word, the one skill a business absolutely needs to survive? You guessed it, innovation.
But we have to be really precise here about what innovation actually means. It's not just about having a cool idea in the shower. It's the real, practical act of bringing that new idea to the market where a new solution meets a real need.
And this brings us to a super important distinction. Creativity, that's having the new idea. Innovation, that's putting that creativity into action out in the world. One is a thought, the other is a market reality.
You know, we've all seen really creative companies just fail, and you wonder why. It's because true innovation demands risk. It means you have to be willing to actually launch your idea, to step out of that cozy comfort zone and into the unknown. And this right here, this leads us to maybe the single biggest hurdle for any established business that's trying to innovate. It's breaking old habits. It's about breaking those deeply ingrained ways of thinking. You know, Steve Jobs had this brilliant metaphor for this problem. He talked about the long play record that gets stuck in our brains, where the needle just goes into the same groove over and over again, playing the same old song. Our brains love efficiency, but in the game of innovation, that efficiency can be a trap.
And if you want a perfect, almost tragic example of this, look no further than Kodak. Can you believe that back in 1975, one of their own engineers invented the very first digital camera? But Kodak, their entire identity, their mental record, was stuck on film and chemicals. They just couldn't bring themselves to lift the needle from that old groove. And well, we all know how that story ended.
So, what does all of this mean for businesses trying to survive in this digital vortex? What is the real hurdle they actually need to overcome?
You know, it's not the technology.
It never really is. The real challenge, the greatest challenge, is our own ability to change our paradigms, to finally lift the needle off that old scratchy record and embrace truly radical thinking.
And that leaves us with one last really crucial question, a question for your own company, your team, or maybe even just for yourself. What's the old record that's stuck on repeat in your world? And more importantly, what's it going to take for you to finally break it?